All right, moving on now. Tensions between the U.S. and Cuba hit a record low after America indicted 94-year-old former Cuban President Raul Castro on charges carrying a potential death penalty, even though he's currently in Cuba. On the other hand, America has claimed that Cuba accepted its offer of $100 million in humanitarian aid. Now, what are these charges? Let's first understand against Castro. The U.S. Department of Justice has accused him of masterminding the 1996 shooting down of two planes operated by humanitarian group Brothers to the Rescue. 4 Americans were killed after Cuban military jets reportedly fired air-to-air missiles at the aircraft, destroying them without warning. If convicted in this case, he, along with 5 others who have been accused, can even be sentenced to life in prison or death. President Donald Trump, who's repeatedly threatened military action against Cuba, termed this as a very big moment, but he's ruled out the possibility of any escalation.
There won't be escalation. I don't think there needs to be. Look, the place is falling apart. It's a mess, and they've sort of lost control. They've really lost control of Cuba.
Now, amid this, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has claimed that Cuba has accepted the American offer of a humanitarian aid. This is yet to be confirmed by Havana at the moment. At the same time, Rubio has stressed that the United States is facing a national security threat.
Are we offended that the Cubans have not accepted our $100 million? Well, they say they've accepted it. We'll see if that means it. Because here's the thing. We're not going to do humanitarian aid that falls into the hands of their military company that they have.
Earlier, remember, Marco Rubio had directly addressed the people of Cuba in Spanish. Rubio, who was born to Cuban immigrants, urged people to reject their current government and demand a free market economy. He blamed the dire energy crisis in the island nation on alleged loot by business conglomerate Gaisa, which is reportedly controlled by the Cuban armed forces.
The real reason you don't have electricity, fuel or food is because those who control your country have plundered billions of dollars, but nothing has been used to help the people. In the US, we are ready to open a new chapter in the relationship between our people and our countries. And currently, the only thing standing in the way of a better future are those who control your country.
Now, is the United States planning a Venezuela-like operation to capture Castro on Cuban soil? Giving a very strong hint in this direction, acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche stressed that the former Cuban leader will go to prison by another way if he doesn't arrive in the U.S. on his own. On the other hand, Cuban President Miguel Bermudez slammed America over Castro's indictment. He said, and I quote him here, "This is a political maneuver devoid of any legal foundation, aimed solely at padding the fabricated dossier they used to justify the folly of a military aggression against Cuba." Meanwhile, China has come out in Cuba's defense amid all of this. Beijing has emphasized that it firmly opposes repeated threats by the United States and its unilateral sanctions. It expressed support for Cuba in safeguarding its sovereignty and dignity.
The U.S. should stop wielding the stick of sanctions and judicial measures against Cuba and stop resorting to threats of force at every turn.
Well, the mood on the streets of Havana remains defiant as well, with people condemning the indictment of their former leader.
I am a revolutionary and I love my revolution, and I do not agree with a war by the United States here in Cuba. And it's an unjust accusation. I don't support the war. It is inhumane because there will be deaths. There will be many deaths.
Now, this latest flashpoint, remember, comes at a juncture when Cuba has run out of diesel and fuel oil. Amid this, another airline, Spain-based World to Fly, suspended its flights to Cuba owing to fuel shortage. The energy crisis is having a huge toll on the people, with multiple parts of the country facing power cuts lasting up to 22 hours a day.